Okay, it's been rainy. Everything is wet and squeaky. This is my very professional setup. I just pry this apart and stick my phone in there, and that's how I'm going to get most of the shots for this part of the video. But I got looking at this engine. I took the spark plug out and was looking inside of it. The odds of this engine ever running when I'm only working on this frame is just not going to happen. Because the inside, the piston cylinder, and I'll put an image here, that piston looks like it's welded to the inside of the cylinder head, or the cylinder walls. So it's probably never going to run again without being rebuilt. So I'm going to start taking the pieces apart. If this engine runs, I'll save it for something else, and I'll just put a Predator on here like my original plan was. So in this part, we're going to be taking all of the stuff off that I can get off today. Huh. That's not supposed to be in there. Ew. The belt looks fine, actually. I'm really surprised. So this is the continuously variable transmission, which means, that actually spins really nicely. Which means this pulley, this pulley is what needs to come off. If I put this on the new engine, it'll drive this just like normal. So I just have to bolt it up right here, just like this one is. Okay, I've got my breaker bar, I've got my WD, and I'm sitting here on this wheel, and I'm gonna try to crank this engine over. It's still gonna need rebuilt, because I can see in there, the valve is open. This should turn at all. So what we're going to do is very carefully try to get it back up and going. Put the nozzle in there and give it a nice good squirt. Make sure it's all nice and filled so that way we don't break it completely. This is going to be a little hard to do with one hand. Give me a second here. Now, what you don't want to do is just grab this bar and just really crank on it, because it might break it loose, but it also might break it. So what you do is you very carefully just work back and forth and see if there's any chance that it'll get moving without being taken apart. So in this case, we're going to push a little bit that way, and then pull this way, and then push the other way. And we're just going to keep doing this until it cranks loose. Okay, I got both pulleys off, and I ran into a bit of an issue. If you look, this engine block and this transmission cover are one piece. Well, they're split right there, but the engine head and the cylinder walls are right on top of it. This engine will not come off without this going with it, if I ever want the engine to run again. Sorry, my finger was in front of the camera a little bit. So, I'm going to try to take these bolts off and get the engine off and this transmission case off. This is a gear reduction. This is what makes the really slow compared to how fast I'm turning this input shaft. And this is the forward and reverse gearbox. So if I can get this cover off, I can just put whatever engine I want up here. And I've also got both pulleys. This is the one that actually does the adjusting. It's just like a centrifugal clutch, but instead of spreading out, it moves horizontally and pushes the pulley further apart. And this one is just basically an auto clutch hooked to a pulley. So when this spins fast enough, this starts spinning also. Okay, so there's my doggy. Hi, doggy. Hi. Doggy. Good doggy. Okay. So, as you can see, this engine is totally suspended besides the gearbox. So this is what controls forward and reverse. This is the reduction. It's basically just, well, you can kind of see here, a small gear to a big gear. And then the engine. The engine is held up by this piece and this piece here, and they're both unbolted. It is now being held up entirely right here. So I'm going to take this jack and I'm going to slide it under this frame. Let me get down a little lower. Set this up under here and then lift this. Let me set the phone down real quick. Get that up under this motor as best I can, so that way when it comes loose, instead of just falling to the ground, it'll rest on this jack to the best of what I can do with, because this jack just barely ain't tall enough. So let's get this motor out. Okay, it's starting to get quite a bit darker. I've got everything covered up. The sun's setting over there. Cabin looks same. But I can't do any more tonight. It's just getting too dark. I'll see you all tomorrow morning. Okay, so we finally got this motor out. It was a lot of work, but I can't really completely demonstrate it. But this gearbox is a 4-to-1. This has to spin 4 times for this to spin 1 time. And I've got those adjustable pulleys that came off of this motor originally. So the current plan is to put a Predator 212 right here, put the rear pulley on and put the front pulley on the motor and just see if it works. According to the math, it should have a top speed of about 30 or 35. And then see if it works for one after we get tires and just a temporary seat. Once it moves under its own power and it can actually have good enough speed, then we'll worry about alignment and getting everything all nice and clean and repainting the whole thing. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.